Hey guys, it's Miss Z, and I'm going to show you how to get started on your Audubon in the City project. First, you're going to go to our Google Classroom, which is where I am now, and you can click right here. Oops, sorry. You can click right here to see our directions, so I'm going to click there. It might take a second for them to open. And the directions are here. I don't want you to get overwhelmed. It looks like a lot of directions, but it's pretty easy, and we're also going to be working on it for more than one class, so you have a while to do this. The very first thing you need to do is I want you to add a drive to your Google Drive that I've made for you. So you'll click on this link. Sometimes you have to click twice. It'll open up a new tab for you, and when you get here you can see it says Shaber Digital Art, and then I have folders according to grades. So this is going to be the folder where you're hanging out in the most. My button right here says Open in Drive because I already own it, but yours will say Add to Drive. So I want you to click that, and then I want you to add it to the drive. Once you've done that, you can click on 5th grade digital art. You're going to click on Audubon because that's the project we're working on right now. And then you have some options here of things to choose. You're going to choose two things. You want to choose a bird, and you want to choose a cityscape. So you'll click on your bird first. Here's my bird. This right here is the universal symbol for download. So you'll click on that. You'll have to wait a second, and it will download. Now for you, it might download to your downloads folder, and it might download to your Google Drive folder. What you need to remember is what it's named. When you're done, you can just click on this X. And it's named Audubon 11. You might click on another one. Just remember what it's named, and that'll be an easy way to help you find it. Once you've done that, you need to pick a cityscape that you like. I'm going to pick this one. I'm going to click Download again. And I'm good to go. I don't need anything else in the drive anymore, so if you want to exit out of the drive, you can. Then we're going to go back to our directions. We've already done steps 1 through 9. See, I told you it was really easy. Now we're going to go to edit our Audubon bird. Okay, we're going to actually have to edit our bird. So what you're going to do is you're going to go online to Pixlr. You'll click here. Again, you might have to click twice, and it's going to open up Pixlr for you. Now here's the cool thing about Pixlr. This is free, so you can use this at home for any other type of photo editing you want to do. You're going to choose Open Image from Computer, and then you're going to have to go find wherever it was you saved your image. Now I know where mine is saved, but yours was probably saved in Downloads or in your drive. Audubon 11, that's the one I picked. And here it is. Now once you get here, this is the layer, and the layer is locked. I don't want that layer to be locked, so I'm going to double click. See, it even tells me double click to unlock layer. So I'm going to double click, and I've double clicked, okay? Now we have all sorts of things in our toolbox. I know you can't see all of the toolbox because the screencast wouldn't let me get all the way over there, but you also have a sheet of paper I've given you that has a copy of the toolbox, and it tells you what the tools do. So that should be helpful to you. But what you're going to do is you want to erase everything except for the bird. The bird is all you're going to need. So the first thing I might like to do is to click on the crop tool. The crop tool looks like this. And then I'm going to crop it so it's just the bird, so I don't have all this other extra stuff I don't need. And once I do that, if I hit the enter button, it's cropped it. That's pretty cool. The next thing I might do is I might click on my magic wand tool. The magic wand tool is really cool. When you click on whatever pixel you click on, it tries to find other pixels that are similar, that touch that pixel, that are the same color, and it highlights all of them for you. So there's a lot of like this white color up here. So if I click, do you see how it does that? And I can actually change the tolerance. The bigger the number, the more it's going to pick up. So I wonder what would happen if I changed it to 80. So let me click somewhere else. Whoa, it picked up my bird there. I don't want that. But look here. Do you see the marching ants? So I can go to Edit, Cut. Now if you look, wherever you see this checkerboard means it's clear. But if I were to zoom in by going to View, Zoom in, oops, I have too many files open, sorry. If I scroll over, do you notice how it's deleted part of his face? I don't want that to happen. So if I go to Edit, Undo, it will undo that, okay? And so now I'm going to zoom back out again. View, zoom out, view, zoom out. And I don't want the marching ants there anymore, so I can go to Edit, and I can go to Deselect All. Edit, Deselect All. If you ever have marching ants and you want to get rid of them, Edit, Deselect All. So I think I'm going to turn that tolerance maybe back down to 21. and I'm going to make sure I have my magic wand tool. I'm going to click, and I'm going to go edit, cut. Now it didn't erase everything, but it was helpful. The next thing I can do is I can always click on my eraser tool, and I can erase. If you click right here, you can pick different sizes. So see, there's my eraser tool, so I can just kind of keep erasing. The other thing that you can do, and I might zoom in so I can see better. This is kind of hard to see, it's so tiny. And I can always make this box a little bit bigger right here by doing that. Another really cool tool is this one right here. It looks like a lasso, like something like a cowboy might use, and it's called the lasso tool. I'm going to click on it, and I can actually draw with it. I can click, and it's going to just sort of, it's kind of hard to see, but it makes a very faint line. I can kind of go around, and I have to close the shape, so I'm going up around the edges. I'm going to bring it right back around here to where I started, so I've lassoed it. A lasso makes a big circle of some kind, so you have to make a big shape, and you have to close it. And I'm going to let go, and there's marching ants there, and I can go edit, cut, and look, they're all gone. Isn't that fantastic? It's so easy. The other tool you can use as well is the marquee tool, and it's just a little box, and I can draw a box, and I can go edit, cut. And I can always use my eraser tool. So this is what's going to take you the most time with your project. You have to erase everything except for your bird, and it'll take a while. Now, I recommend saving a lot because you hate to be working on your bird for a long time and then have Pixlr crash and you have to start all over. That would make me want to cry. So the way you save is you go File, Save. Right here, you want to make sure JPEG is picked. I always like to make the quality 100. I worked hard on this. I want the quality to be really good. You're going to click OK, and then it will say, where do you want to save this? You need to save it somewhere where you're going to remember it is. If you make a folder on your desktop, that's totally fine, but you just need to know where it is you have saved it. So you'll save it. I'm going to save mine to my desktop. Maybe give it a different name if you want to. You can. I'm going to say Audubon Sample and save. So now it's saved. And I'm going to keep editing until there's nothing but my bird. All right, guys, I spent a little bit of time and I've edited my bird all the way down. I did a final save, so it's saved. And now I'm ready to put my bird into my background. If you want to, of course, you can always click back here and I have directions. So we've already done the edit the Audubon bird part. And now we're on to the insert your Audubon bird into a cityscape part right here. So those are all the steps. I'm going to go back over here to Pixlr. So my first step is to go to, I want to have my bird open. So if you, maybe we're on the second class now, you need to go open up Pixlr, okay? And so when you go to Pixlr, you would choose open file from computer and you would go find your Audubon bird and you'd have it open just like I do. The second step is you're going to go back up to file and you're going to go to open image and you're going to go find wherever you saved your cityscape to. You may have to go resave it from our drive. You may have forgotten. Sometimes that happens. So let me go find my cityscape that I really liked. Oh, I liked this one. There it is. And you can always zoom in to make it a little bit bigger if you'd like. Oops. You might have to stretch your window. And now I need to get my bird over to my cityscape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my window so I can see my bird and my cityscape at the same time. I'm going to make sure that I have my Audubon bird selected, and I'm going to sometimes you have to move things kind of weird. Make sure I've got my bird selected, and then I'm going to click on the bird layer. Do you see that bird layer? And I'm going to drag it to where I'm on the cityscape. Do you see how I've dragged it to the cityscape? I'm going to drag, and then I'm going to release. And look, there's my bird in that crazy cityscape. Now, he's way too big. There's some things you might notice, though. Do you see all these little halo marks I have? That's where I didn't delete enough. So I might want to go in there, and I might want to get my eraser and erase the last little parts of that, because you really want this to look nice and professional. You don't want to look like you were just lazy and when you got to the very end you didn't want to work anymore. So I always like to do that little extra bit of cleanup. Sometimes it takes a second. Now, another great tool to remember to use is the move tool, so I can move it around. Whoops, I moved him too far. There he is. I'll click on my eraser tool again and get all this stuff around his beak. Now, he's a little bit too big for my cityscape, don't you think? I want to show, this is a heron. I want to show that the heron is in perspective. So I would go to Edit. I'm going to go to Free Transform. Up, look, that's something you're familiar with, right? And you can shrink him down. Now, you don't want to make him too wide because that's going to look like you were an amateur. We're professionals, right? So you want to make sure he looks nice. Click and find a place for him to go. You know what? I'm going to make it look like maybe he's getting ready to cross the street. And I'm going to click. Now, the last thing I want to do is I really want to make it look like he's in this scene. And the way I do that is I want to add a shadow. And so I'm going to go to Layer, Layer Styles. If I move it over here, there's different ones, but we're actually just going to use one. It's called Drop Shadow. Do you see when I did that, it automatically added a shadow? I'm going to click OK. And now you're totally done. So you're going to go to File, Save, and I want you to name it your name and then Audubon. So my name is Amy Shaber, so I'm going to say Amy Z, and then I'm going to type in Audubon. Make sure it's a JPEG. Make sure this is 100. I'm going to click OK. And then you want to save it somewhere where you know where it is. So again, if you want to make a folder on your desktop, that's totally fine. Save it there. Okay, now it's saved. Now the very last thing that you have to do that the directions tell you to do, I would leave this up by the way, in case you just didn't save it right, then you could save it again. You need to turn it into me. If I don't get it, how can I grade it? So what you'll do is you're going to go open up your email. This is my email, right? And you're going to go compose. And you're going to send an email to me. If you don't know my email, it's really easy. If you scroll down in the directions, look, there it is. You can highlight this and you can say Control-C to copy. Or you can just copy it, whatever your method of copying is. And then you probably want to type in Audubon Bird Assignment. You're going to click on the Attach File. And then you need to go find your beautiful artwork. Let's see, I saved it as Audubon something. Amy Z Audubon, there it is. Open, let it attach, and you're going to click Send, and I will get it eventually. Let's see. Oh, look, there it is. I already got it. So I've turned in my artwork and now I can do a nice color print for you. Okay? That is all there is to it. You can watch this video as many times as you want. Help each other out. You know there's going to be one day of this project I will not be here. I will try to answer any questions you send me in our Google Classroom or on email. Okay, guys? That's all there is to it. Thank you so much for all of your hard work. Oh, and I forgot to mention, if you get done early, you've got all these fun websites you can go to. Don't go anywhere else, though. Make sure you use your Chromebooks appropriately. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you.